Welcome. Let's, of course, talk to our very first guest for today. We have somebody very interesting. His name is hang on a second, Kayode Ajetumobi, also known as Aremmic. He's a US-based gospel singer-songwriter. And if you ask me, I think his Indian name should be Walks Into Walls, because this guy walks into walls and keeps on going. I mean, take a look at that guy. Gospel and you, I can't see the relationship. But welcome, Aremmic.
Thank you.
But Aremmic in itself is a combination of two different names, isn't it?
Correct.
What and what?
It's a combination of my Oriki, Aremu, Michael, my first name.
Okay, you said the word Oriki there. I'm not going to make you recite everything, unless you absolutely want to. But we'll do that in the course of the show here. So let's talk about your music. You're a gospel artist from the U.S.
Yeah.
Born to a choir, what do you call it? Choir master father.
Yeah.
I can imagine that that's the impact that it had on you. You're still yet inside of the music business and a gospel artist. But you're back from the U.S.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why you came back.
So I'm visiting, actually.
You're visiting, grand. Okay.
To get some things done. Music, especially the gospel, you can't stay in one place. You have to move.
You have to preach it.
Yeah, you have to move. Sometimes it's not comfortable, but you have to do what is necessary.
I can imagine. For a moment there, I thought that you were back to actually see what possibilities and advantages you can take of the Nigerian climb currently, because people know that we tune into gospel, especially when we are in need of something. People are closer to God when they want something. So Nigerians might be experiencing a high when it comes to attendance in churches, perhaps, and also closeness to God. I might be wrong, but are you taking advantage of that as a gospel artist back in Nigeria from the U.S.?
No.
You're not?
No.
Man, there's money to be made there, but it's okay. But yeah, you're not taking advantage of that. Is there anything wrong if you did anyhow?
So I feel the gospel is consistent whether you're in need or you have plenty. The gospel is the same.
Nice.
So if you look at the journey of the Israelites, there are times where there are challenges. The challenges were to make them turn back to God. And when they turn back to God, when things start getting smooth again, they forget
kind of
again.
forget about God,
So it's important for us to have a constant in our life, and that constant has to be God. So whether in the good times and the bad times, we must know that there's God, and we give God the place of God in our life. In spite of whether we're busy, we're making much, or we're making less.
How big is gospel outside in the U.S.?
It's really big.
It is.
Really big.
But then there is that thought that when people from Nigeria leave and go outside of the country, they become less godly. Is this true? Am I correct?
So it boils down to why do you have a relationship with God? So are you seeking God for things, or you're seeking God because you love God? Because when you get outside, all the things you're praying for here, for example,
Light.
An example, you have everything on the platter of gold, and you have to walk, though. You
Yeah,
have to walk.
yeah.
That's a for sure thing you have to do. So you have to walk. You get all of those stuff that you don't have to pray for, those things you prayed for before. Now, would you still seek God? That's the real test. When God has provided everything you're praying for, and you're not like, what do I want to ask God for? Now you want to pray about a better relationship with God. You need to have stamina with God, because your values are going to be tested.
Yeah, true.
key.
Wow, this is almost like a motivation segment, I must say. Let's talk about you and that buff chest. God, it's just like... So I'm wondering if you think that people also tune into music because of the visuals that they get from their artists. Would you be taking off your shirt on stage anytime soon? Like,
No,
yes!
no. I work out, and that's just for health reasons. I
that's
have
good.
to take care of myself so I can keep doing the work I need to do. So
Okay.
it's important. Else, another thing is you're going to spend a lot of bills in the hospital if you don't take care of yourself.
You're an all-round guy. All-round guy. That's good. Now let's come back and talk about your music, your kind of gospel music, and how Nigerians will see it eventually when they get to hear it. What is it like? What's so unique about Aremmic's gospel sound?
So my sound is based on my experience and how I see God. And it's not like it's different from the message. It's just my interpretation of the gospel. So the last song I did, Sweet Communion, it's about intimacy with God. And everything boils down to intimacy with God. If you have an intimate relationship with God, whether the sun is shining or it's dark, you're still going to remain the same, because it's not about what's happening outside. It's about God, and God is constant.
Are you married?
Yes.
You are married. It's a different kind of generation we have currently, and people often want to be human and still be related to God in some sort of way. There are very many moral regulations that one must follow as anyone who claims to be godly. And for young people, it's very difficult, especially when you have to talk about the moralities that surround relationships and dating and all of that. How people should conduct themselves, whether they should actually go all in into certain activities that, well, the Bible would say are reserved for married people. How do you navigate that as a gospel artist with fans who are young, who are experiencing these kinds of well, expressions from themselves?
So I feel one thing is you don't want to isolate yourself, because when you isolate yourself, you're giving yourself room to be defeated. You want to have a community, have community with friends, and have people that are ahead of you. They can advise you on how to handle the pressure of life, because pressure is going to come. It's important for you to know so you can prepare when it comes. You're not falling down.
And particularly, I'm talking about the kind of pressure that comes with growing up, the kind of pressure that comes with wanting to be with another person even while you're still a godly person. I'm talking about male-female relationships.
Yeah.
How far can that pressure push you, and what is the allowance in this day and climb that one can take or one can be allowed to have when it comes to dating?
So I'll say you can date. Gospel allows you to date. There's nothing wrong with dating, but you have to set boundaries too, because you don't want to just messing yourself up. And if you, as a Christian, you should know the values of a Christian, and you should know that, okay, you're being tempted, talk about it with someone. You're not the first person that is going to be tempted. There's nothing new actually under the sun. Someone has gone through it before and can tell you how to navigate it. There are times where you actually do fall, but don't stay on the ground, get back up. So it's very important for you to know and get advice, get people who have made these mistakes before, and they can advise you on how to go about it.
Does your music have this entailed in its expressions as well? Do you tell people it's okay to be human? You can fall, but rise up again, because God is a forgiving God.
Right now, I don't have any song yet about that, but I know songs.
And that's my point. These are the realities of life. And even inside of gospel music, I think that these should be attended to. But not everybody's doing that. Everybody's talking about how you should be close to God and do this and do that, and, you know, worship and stuff. But there are very normal social events that happen that people need help with, and song carries those expressions and also advice. So I'm hoping that there's something like that you could come up with, because these youngins need to learn about it.
Definitely. Now that you mention it, I'll
so I'm inspiration for your next work, aren't I? Aremmic, thank you very much, man. It's been very interesting getting to speak with you here. I'm sure we're going to play one or two of your tracks before the end of the show. We'd like to see exactly how your expressions come out in music form. And maybe for our workout tomorrow, we should actually visit Aremmic and see how he works out for our fitness. That's going to be good, wouldn't it?
Okay.
So I'm asking our producers, please get his number so we can see him in the gym. Thank you very much, Aremmic.
All right.
Do stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We got more coming your way for Wake Up Nigeria. It's a brand new Monday, a brand new week. Don't go anywhere.